about you, and it's no one else like you is what they're getting. Positive vibes only. Shout out to King Saul's boss in the building. About you, and it's no one else like you is what they're getting. Positive vibes only.
Sauce the boss, yo, sauce the boss, of course. Hence, it's the same sauce. Sauce the boss, yo, sauce the boss, of course. Hence, it's the same sauce. Sauce the boss, yo, sauce the boss.
During an argument, this man jumped out of his apartment window and survived. I genuinely have no idea how he was able to walk off after this fall.
Unusual deaths in human history, the body of a 39-year-old man was discovered hanging upside down inside the leg of a papier-mâché stegosaurus. He crawled inside headfirst trying to retrieve his phone, but got trapped, causing him to experience a slow, painful death. In 2019, a Sri Lankan man was trampled to death by a wild elephant after jumping out of his car and attempting to hypnotize it. In 2016, a 10-year-old boy named Caleb Schwab was decapitated when he was ejected from his ride on Verrucht, a 168-foot-tall water slide at Schlitterbahn Water Park. In late 2019, a family in Iowa was trying to make a viral gender reveal to announce the sex of their baby. The family proceeded to fill a steel umbrella stand with gunpowder, inadvertently making a pipe bomb, causing 56-year-old Pamela Kreimeier to be hit in the head with shrapnel, killing her instantly. In 2014, a 23-year-old Indian soccer player named Peter Biak Singh Zula scored a goal and did a somersault to celebrate. However, he landed awkwardly on his neck and died due to spinal cord injuries.
Who's most likely to always have a smile on their face?
Let me take you dancing
Like that, 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 that.
Who's most likely to make someone else jealous? Who's most likely to be a cool mom or dad? Who's most likely to take a prank too far?
It's a remix and I'm coming with that bow, bow, bow. Pretty bitch, I'm trying.
Who's most likely to stalk their friends?
I've been watching you now every other day. I've been watching you.
Who's most likely to be the person who's always laughing?
Ooh, baby, do you know that's
Here are some cool things that are happening in the world right now. There was a rare golden penguin that was found recently that had bright yellow feathers instead of black and white. A 99-year-old woman wanted to experience jail before she passed away, so the police made it happen. A cafe in Japan is actively hiring paralyzed people to remotely control robot servers. One man named Michael has been building treehouses for over 30 years and has created the world's largest concentration of treehouses. His resort is fully equipped with electricity, air conditioning, heating, everything needed. A group of best friends built a tiny town so that they can all grow old together. 600 men showed up to mentor students in Dallas when they only asked for 50. Luxembourg has become the first country in the world to officially grant public transportation to everybody for free. We have found 128 new moons around Saturn. This means that we know Saturn has at least 274 moons, which beats Jupiter to have the most moons in our solar system. Some scientists in Italy just turned pure light into solid matter for the first time ever. Researchers created a hydrogel that self-heals like human skin and often heals within 24 hours completely.
Who gained real-life superpowers after an accident. In 1971, Edwin Robinson was in a severe car crash that made him completely blind and partially deaf. 9 years later, he ventured outside his home to rescue his pet chicken from the rain when he was suddenly struck by lightning. But due to the high-voltage blast from the lightning strike, he miraculously could see and hear perfectly fine again. During Adam Rayner's early life, he suffered from dwarfism, and at his tallest, he came in at 4.5 feet. But at the age of 21, he developed a tumor on his pituitary pituitary gland, which led him to grow to a staggering 7 feet 8 inches within a few years. This made him the only human to ever be classified as both a dwarf and a giant in the same lifetime. Rory Curtis got into a car accident that was so severe he fell into a coma for several days. Thankfully, he came out of it, and when he woke up, he could magically speak perfect French, even though he had only taken a few French lessons 12 years before the accident.
Let's test to see if you have coulrophobia. You'll see 5 photos. Try your best to make it to the end. If you can't, then you could have coulrophobia. Start the test. First one. Feeling uneasy? Want to pause? Don't dip into the comments. Last one. Did you make it through all 5? If you couldn't, then you may have coulrophobia, which is the
not their daughter, and they returned her back to where she came from. Not knowing where else their daughter could be, the Picard family eventually accepted that the body found near their house most likely belonged to Pauline. Authorities have never been able to track down the murderer, and to this day, nobody knows for sure who the body in the Skull in the Meadow belongs to. Maybe she's still out there.
A 7-year-old girl was found locked in the closet of her family's home, and now a search is
about you, and it's no one else like you is what they're getting. Positive vibes only.
On April 3rd, 2025,
shout out to King Saul's boss in the building.
To a 911 call for a 7-year-old child that was found locked in a closet and was starving. The girl's grandmother had gone to the apartment of Virginia Gonzalez after she had been arrested for marijuana possession. And when she was there, the grandmother found the 7-year-old girl malnourished, soiled, and barricaded in a bedroom closet. The 7-year-old had allegedly been in the closet for a month and was fed a hot dog or corn dog in the morning and was given half a cup of water daily. And that was it. According to an affidavit, the girl weighed just 29 pounds when she was taken to the hospital. 6 other children aged between 2 and 14 years old were found in the home in apparently good health. The 7-year-old was immediately taken to a local hospital for medical treatment and is currently recovering. But her sister, who is 2 years older than her, is nowhere to be found. The girl's mother, Virginia Gonzalez, was arrested on April 24th and is currently facing a charge of serious injury to a child. She is being held on a $75,000 bond. And a search is underway for 9-year-old Ava Marie Gonzalez, who was the girl's older sister. Ava Gonzalez was last seen by family and friends in December 2017 when she was 2 years old. She has not been seen since, and she was nowhere to be found in the house. This is an age-progressed photo of what she would look like today. She is a Hispanic female with straight brown hair and brown eyes. But other than this age-progressed photo, we don't know exactly what she looks like today. And the Austin Police Department is asking for the public's help in locating 9-year-old Ava. Hopefully Ava is out there safe somewhere. So please help spread awareness, help spread her image and her name so we can help bring Ava home.
Everyone's asking if 100 men could beat a gorilla, but no one's asking how. I'm gonna break it down. In a fight where the loser wins a meet and greet with Mufasa, it's all about attacking the weak points. And a gorilla's weak points are the same as ours: eyes, throat, mouth, and for measure, the jewels of the South. Someone would have to gouge the gorilla's eyes out, and someone else would have to put him on an oxygen diet, either by bear hugging his windpipe or by shoving their arm down his throat. And since you're already negotiating your arm, you'd have to pull the gorilla's tongue out. I call that the leopard method. Because a 73-year-old Tarzan the whole leopard by tearing out the leopard's liquor. Now let's be clear, gorillas got more jaw work than a grizzly and could break a bowling ball. Those first 10 or so men are seeing Tupac live. 100 men can move gorilla, wouldn't survive. Also, someone would have to be the one to make the chimpanzee play and tear the gorilla's nuts off. Hey, this is war, which means you got to go at the gorilla's weaknesses. Endurance, being outnumbered, and the fact that their fighting style is mostly grappling and biting. Not so great for soloing an army. Also, gorillas have a thought process. Seeing 100 men run over the hill would have them ready to run, not run evade. It would turn to the gorilla playing defense real quick, and the main thing would be to have enough bodies to rotate in and out until the big man's heart eventually retires. Now, you might argue, seeing men get their heads divorced from their body and faces foreign to the rest would make the rest of the men fold. But there's a catch. The tweet said, dedicated to that ish. If men can watch each other get blown up in a war, then 100 should be willing to die about a gorilla. So long story short, 100 men would win, but for the first few, don't matter the method nor the facet. Their only outcome is a closed casket. The more you know.
Disturbing facts that will ruin your life. You have to have life insurance policy for 2 years before they'll pay out for a suicide. Brain-eating amoeba exist, and you can contract it from swimming in lakes or tainted tap water. They live in the US and UK. Female dragonflies fake their own death to prevent rape. Before modern medicine, there was this illness called mercy. Basically, if you had it, you were puking your own feces and you were sure to die in great pain. It is caused by obstruction in intestines. Most people trapped in the Titanic as it went under did not die of drowning. Rather, they were killed by water blasting into the ship's hull at great speed. At those pressures, the water would cut and crush you before it even had the chance to enter your body. Death by strangulation can turn teeth pink. The stress on the pulp chambers causes it to hemorrhage, so the blood colors the inside. Comment on this video and let me know which fact is the most disturbing.
The worst ways that people have died. Part 1. In 1981, David Kerwin was driving through Yellowstone's hot springs with his friend Ronald Radcliffe and Ronald's dog, Moosey. At some point, they parked their truck for a closer look at one of the beautiful hot springs, but it quickly turned into a nightmare. Moosey the dog suddenly jumped into the scorching hot pool and immediately started yelping in pain. Even though many people warned him not to jump into the near boiling water, David dove straight in and attempted to rescue the suffering dog. He grabbed Moosey and made it close to the edge before letting go and sinking until his friend pulled him back out. Immediately afterwards, David muttered, "That was stupid. How bad am I? That was a stupid thing I did." He was immediately blinded since the hot spring melted his eyeballs, and when someone helped pull his shoe off, his skin came off with it. David sustained third-degree burns to 100% of his body and died the next day after living out his final hours in agonizing pain. Sadly, Moosey the dog also did not survive.
Here are some facts that you probably didn't know that one day could save your life. If you're ever being attacked by a monkey, give it any food you have because they're overly aggressive when they're hungry. And if you don't have food, make sure the monkey knows by showing your empty hands. If you're ever cooking and the pan catches on fire, do not throw liquid on it. Instead, use the lid to smother the heat and do not remove it for a few minutes. If someone is smothering you with a pillow, move your head to the side to breathe, and if that doesn't work, play dead. Likely your attacker doesn't know exactly how long they'll need to smother you for, and eventually they'll give up. To test if a plant is edible, first smell it. If it smells bad, do not eat it, but if it's fine, you can rub a little bit on your skin, and if you have rashes or hives, don't eat it either. If it's still fine, swish it around in your mouth, and if you have no reaction, try eating a small amount before waiting a little bit and eating more. If you're being strangled by a python, stop trying to pry it off. You're not strong enough. Bite it and poke at its eyes until it gets frustrated and leaves you alone.
These conjoined brothers who are attached at the hip do not want to be separated. Shivanath and Shivram Sahu are conjoined twins from India who were attached at the waist. The twins share 2 legs and 4 arms but have separate hearts and brains, and despite sharing a body, they actually live a pretty normal life. They're able to shower, eat, and dress themselves, and they even found out a way to ride their bike to school together. However, life is about to get a lot more complicated for the twins, as doctors say they can't actually be separated. If they tried to, the weaker one, Shivanath, would most likely die. Shivram, the stronger one, would most likely retain both legs and live a normal life, but the twins say even if they could afford the surgery, they wouldn't do it because...
This is Robert the doll, and he's known as one of the most haunted dolls in the world. It all started in the early 1900s when a man named Eugene Robert Otto received a doll from a servant that worked at his house. He named this doll Robert. At first, Robert seemed like a normal cloth doll, and Eugene, who's pictured right here, would play with them all day, and it seemed like a good time. This is the house where Eugene lived, called the Artist House in Key West, Florida, and it's known to be haunted. But pretty soon after he got the doll, weird stuff started to happen to Eugene, including one night where he screamed out to his parents for help and claimed that Robert was throwing furniture in his room and attacking him. At first, Eugene's parents thought that he was going crazy as a young kid because obviously a doll can't be haunted, right? But then they started to hear Eugene talking to the doll and hearing a different voice talking back. They heard giggling from the upstairs, and his parents even claimed to see Robert running up and down the stairs. At one point, they even locked Robert in the closet, and this is where the story gets crazy. Like and follow for a part 2.
La Casa de los Tubos is one of the most haunted houses in Mexico. In 1970, in Monterrey, Mexico, a very wealthy couple was building a house for their paralyzed daughter. The father wanted to build a house that was custom made for disabled people. It had ramps leading from one floor to another so that the daughter could roam freely around with her wheelchair. The man hoped that his daughter would feel like she wasn't actually disabled. Once construction began, the young girl really seemed like she was excited about their new home.
Shout out to
The young
Sauce,
girl
the
was
boss,
so
of
excited
course,
about her
man.
new
Who's in
home
the
that she
building,
asked
man?
her father to take her over there to check it out. On the day they went, 2 of the architects who were working on the home ended up having a terrible accident and were both killed from falling concrete. Because of this terrible accident, the construction crew refused to work on it. The family were able to hire another group of builders to work on the home, and again, the little girl wanted to go check on the home to see how it was looking. She was testing out the ramps, going from one floor to the other, having a really great time knowing that this was going to be her new home. Her parents had took their eyes off of her for just one moment when all of a sudden her wheelchair started to go backwards down the ramp, and it went too fast that she flew out the window and fell to her death. Her poor parents were grieving with the loss of their daughter that they didn't want anything to do with this home, so they immediately stopped construction. Years later, the half-finished building was put on the market, but not a lot of people were interested. That was until one family was interested in the home, so they went to go check it out and brought their young son with them. While the parents were in the lower levels, the boy decided to go upstairs to explore. A few minutes later, the parents could hear their son screaming, and when they looked up, he was struggling with a little girl. As the parents were watching in horror, the girl grabbed the boy and threw him out the window. The parents then went upstairs to find this girl, but she was never found. After that terrible tragedy, the police ended up fencing this property off and it wasn't available to the public. Many say that this house is haunted and is cursed by that little girl. As of 2016, someone ended up buying the property and completely renovating the whole home.
This Mississippi woman is in jail for doing the nasty with a dog, and she got caught twice. This happened in Hattiesburg, Mississippi. Her first arrest was in 2023, but she couldn't resist that. She went back in 2024 and got arrested again for the same thing. So she's been sentenced to 5 years probation, and she's been ordered to pay $2,600. However, they ended up bumping up her sentence, so she's serving 4 years in prison now. She was sentenced just a couple months ago in January 24th of 2025. So now all of the dogs are safe. Now, I said she got caught twice. However, in one of those times, there was like 2 or 3 dogs in the video. The dogs were rescued and received veterinary care. Her charges were unnatural intercourse and aggravated animal cruelty. The Justice for Animals campaign said how disgusting this case was, and I agree, that's pretty nasty. I'm not sure what would prompt you to do that, and record it on top of that. That's just gross. Like I said, though, I'm glad those dogs got rescued and they're in the right care now. It's very gross and unfortunate things like this happen, but let me know your thoughts. Let me know your opinions. It's a weird story.
Malia Powell's story needs to be heard. A couple of years ago, I covered Malia's case, and some new information has come out that the person who took Malia's life is free and is now a content creator on TikTok. Before I get into that, it's very important that we talk about Malia first. Malia Powell was born on February 20th of 2008 and was from Nashville, Tennessee. At this time, she was 14 years old. She had just graduated from 8th grade and was going to be starting her freshman year at Hillwood High School. Malia was described as bubbly, full of life, and loved her family and friends. On June 20th of 2022, around 10 p.m., Malia was at a Walmart when she exchanged words with a girl around her age. They were having a disagreement and took it outside in the parking lot that was near a bus stop. This disagreement did escalate. The girl asked Malia to fight. She then stabbed Malia in the neck 7 times, fled the scene, and just left Malia there. Malia was taken to the Skyline Medical Center where unfortunately she did pass away. For a couple of days, arrested 16-year-old Isabel Jackson for new happy life. Allegedly, she has now completely changed her name to Luna. She is an OF content creator and is a part of the Asian Bop House. I'm mainly just making this video just to bring awareness to Malia's case once again, and just to be careful with who you support online, because what you see online can be completely different than what's happening in real life. At the end of the day, 14-year-old Malia did lose her life, and it's not fair for this girl to live her life, change her name.
Morbid War Facts, Part 2. William Hitler despised his uncle Adolf and fled from Germany to fight for the US during World War II. William's sons also agreed to never have children in order to cut off Hitler's bloodline. After escaping from a POW camp, Australian soldier Robert Kerr McLaren removed his own appendix in the middle of a Philippine jungle. He did it without any anesthetic and only used a mirror, razor blade, and plant fibers for stitches. The operation took 4.5 hours to perform, and he made a full recovery. Sam White, a Civil War artifact collector from Virginia, was killed in 2008 when a 140-year-old highly explosive cannonball suddenly exploded in his chunks of shrapnel a quarter-mile away. White is now considered by some historians to be the last confirmed casualty of the American Civil War. When a 20-year-old Rod Serling was serving in World War II, he watched as his best friend was suddenly killed by a falling crate of food. Realizing the irony and unpredictability of life and death, this experience would later inspire him to create the TV show The Twilight Zone. Here's a group of teenage kamikaze pilots posing with a cute puppy on the day before their suicide missions in 1945. Hannibal of Carthage was famous for intimidating his Roman enemies through the use of war elephants. But the Romans eventually learned that elephants are afraid of squealing pigs, so they would lather pigs in tar and set them on fire, sending the enemy elephants fleeing in horror. This is where the term war pigs originated from.
This mother sold her 6-year-old for her eyes and her skin. A 6-year-old girl went missing in South Africa last year, and her mother was just convicted of kidnapping and trafficking her. The young girl, Jocelyn Smith, has yet to be found right now. She was last seen with a local healer who wanted her for her eyes and her skin. Her mother, Kelly Smith, and 2 others were convicted on trafficking charges on May 2nd. One of the neighbors came forward and confessed that the mother was confiding in her plans to sell her to this local healer. The young girl's teacher also testified in court, asking the mother where the child is. The mother then replied to the teacher saying she's in a container on a ship going to West Africa. They found the woman who is the local healer and questioned her, but they released her due to lack of evidence right now. Everything in this story is true, and she did sell her daughter. She is probably somewhere in a container or somewhere just getting trafficked, and who knows if she's even alive at this point. The court decision was made. Smith was found guilty. She broke down into tears, and everybody in the courtroom started clapping and applauding, rightfully so. Hopefully Jocelyn Smith is found soon. Let me know your thoughts.
Breaking news, authorities have now provided an update on the missing children from Nova Scotia, Lily and Jack. Lily and Jack Sullivan, ages 6 and 4, were reported missing on May 2nd at around 10 a.m. from their home. Authorities announced today that the likelihood the children are still alive is, quote, very low. Authorities in Nova Scotia also noted that the search is, quote, being scaled back. They said it has been a, quote, all hands on deck effort, and that while they are scaling back the full search, it is so that they can look at more, quote, specific spaces. They also noted that they are not ending their search efforts, saying, quote, we are not packing up and we are not giving up. Upwards of 160 searchers and others have taken part in the operation each day. They have been covering about 4 square kilometers of heavily wooded rural terrain daily. The operation has included use of drones, police dogs, and helicopters. They have also said there has been no confirmed sightings of the 2 children. They said, quote, we want to circle back to increase that probability that all clues have been found. They also ability of survival is taken into consideration. Quote, our investigation is broad and it won't end until we know where Lily and Jack are and can bring them home. They also added that the children's family has been kept up to date on the search and the investigation. They said during the investigation, family and community members have all been interviewed to gather tips. At the press conference, they would not confirm whether there was a criminal element in their disappearance. saying, quote, I can't really comment on the details of that, but we will pursue every lead that becomes available and take it to where it needs to go. They said the decision to scale back the search was made in part because there is little chance the children are alive. They said, quote, based on the experts and the review of the facts, the inclement weather, the time frames, and their age, the likelihood that they're right now alive.
Shout out to Sauce the Boss, of course, man. Who's in the building, man? Shout out to Sauce the Boss, of course, man. Who's in the building, man?
About you, and it's no one else like you is what they're getting. Positive vibes only. Shout out to King Sauce Boss in the building.
My life, son.
Sauce the Boss. It's his birthday. Everybody wish him happy birthday.
Oh, this is big right here, y'all. Everybody wish Sauce, the official boss,
back once again.
happy birthday, man.
You know, it's a beautiful day.
Let's go. Let's see it in the timeline.
Get you a bag of that.
I like to
just light up.
I like to
King Foggy, Mr. Head Ride. Can't greet him with two, only the third eye. Killer Vision, PSER, in hospital. Okay. Let me on the track. Accidents to operas. Conscience, unconscious. Flow riding on my train. Denzel, Chris Ponce, unstoppable. Albert Einstein. Imagination is more important than knowledge, therefore I'm flying off the tracks. Extraterrestrial blunt, I got it on my lab. When I land Soul Train line, hop up on my dad. They fear what they don't understand. I forgive them cause they don't really know no better. Hope let them walk on water. I'm dancing in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean with a polo sweater. How bad do you want success? I was holding my breath unconsciously. The conscious me woke up and came up for air. I turned 160 to the bump of air. Dancing with chopped, I guaranteed I'm in the dreams. Fire miss, Mr. Clean. Dirty talk, come shots, Listerine. The devil tried to catch me slipping, but my third eye open. I see when I don't break. Body growing out the ground. The reason to coke up, the pressure coming. They lift you up. You can count on the fingerless hand how many people I can trust. The wordplay insane. Meditate, break down, ain't plain. With no passengers on it, facing the blunt. Putting managers on it, push a T attitude, cutting ways, malices wasn't on it.
Hey girl,
I stay to myself, I'm known as the cool kid. Come to the moolah, G's on his head like the school days between two legs. The pussy is the basket, I finish a dunk, pull out and shoot my cool J. You see how I do
Friday night, and he's watching us on his birthday.
Friday night. He could be anywhere in the world. He's watching us. My life, son.
Sauce the Boss. It's his birthday.
Man, we're back once again.
Oh, this is big right here, y'all.
You know, it's a beautiful
Everybody
day.
wish Sauce, the official
down,
boss,
get you a bag of that.
birthday, man. Let's go.
Just light up.
Let's see it in the timeline.
King Fire, Mr. Head Ride. Can't greet him with two, only the third eye. Killer Vision, PSER, in hospital. Let me on the track. Accidents to operas. Conscious, unconscious. Flow riding on my train. Denzel, Chris Ponce, unstoppable. Albert Einstein. Imagination is more important than knowledge, therefore I'm flying off the tracks. Extraterrestrial blunt, I got it on my lap. When I land Soul Train line, hop up on my dad. They fear what they don't understand. I forgive them cause they don't really know no better.
I like to give a big happy birthday to
dancing in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean with a polo sweater. How bad do you want success? I was holding my breath unconsciously. The conscious me woke up and came up for air. I turned 160 to the bomb, but ain't dancing for chopped. I guaranteed I'm in the train. Fire miss, Mr. Clean. Dirty talk, come shots, Listerine. The devil tried to catch me slipping, but my third eye open. I see when I don't look. Body growing out the ground. The reason to coke up, the pressure coming. They bitch you not.
Call me Megatron Ron.
Fingerless hand, how many people I can trust? The wordplay insane. Meditate, break down, ain't plain. With no passengers on it, facing the blunt, putting managers on it, pushing T.
I like to give a big shout to Boyce Roseboro.
Wasn't on it. I stay to myself, I'm
His
known
choice
as
been
the cool
thorough.
kid. Come to the moolah, G's on his head like the school
like to
days
say, hey,
between
girl.
two legs. The pussy is the basket, I finish a dunk, pull out and shoot my cool J. You see how I do when I do me.
Wow, look at all the birthday wishes. It's Friday night, and he's watching us on his birthday.
Friday night. He could be anywhere in the world. He's watching us.
Oh man, we're back once again.
My life, son.
You know, it's a beautiful day.
It's his
If you feeling down, just get you a bag
this
of
is
that.
big right here, y'all. Everybody with
Just
sauce.
light up.
The official boss.
Can't fire Mr. Head Can't greet him with two, only the third.
Let's go.
Killer
Let's see it
vision,
in the timeline.
hospital. Let me on this track. Accidents, opera O's, and conscience, unconscious. Flow riding on my train. Denzel, Chris Pontius, unstoppable. Albert Einstein. Imagination is more important than knowledge. Therefore, I'm flying off the tracks. Extraterrestrial born. I got it on my lap when I land. Soul train line, hop up on my dad.
I'd like to give a big shout to Happy Gordon.
Somebody say Happy Gordon. Charlie Fields. They don't really know no better. Hope let them walk on water. I'm dancing in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean with a polo sweater.
I'd like to give a big happy birthday to
my breath unconsciously. The conscious me woke up and came up for air. I turned 1 to the phone, but ain't dancing but chop.
I'd like to give a big shout to Benny Chapo.
Fire miss, Mr. Clean.
The official
Dirty
Capo.
talk, come shots, Listerine. The devil tried to catch me slipping.
Shout to
but
Sauce
my
the
third
Boss,
eye
man.
open. I
Happy
see what
birthday.
I don't know. Body growing out the ground. The reason the pressure coming. You can count on the fingerless hand. How many people I can trust? Wordplay insane. Meditate, break down, ain't plain. With no passengers on it. Facing the blunt, putting managers on it. Pushing T attitude, cutting ways, malices wasn't on it. I stayed to myself, I'm known as the cool kid. Come to the moolah.
I'd like to give a big shout to Boys Roseboro.
Between two legs, the pussy
His
is the
choice been
basket. I
thorough.
finish a dunk, pull out and shoot my cool J. You see
I like to
how
say,
I
hey
do
girl,
what I do, man.
to J Girl.
Wow, look at all the birthday wishes. It's Friday night and he's watching us on his birthday.
Friday night. He could be anywhere in the world.
We're back
He's
once
watching
again.
us.
You know, it's a beautiful day. If you feeling down, just get you a
my
bag
life,
of that.
Sauce the Boss.
And just light up.
It's his birthday. Everybody wishing
Can't fire Mr. Head
Oh, this is big
Can't
right
greet
here,
him
y'all.
with two, only
Everybody
the third
with
eye.
sauce.
Killer vision,
The official
PSDR,
boss.
rent hospital. Let me on the track. Accidents and opera O's.
Let's go.
Conscious,
Let's see it in the
unconscious. Flow
timeline.
riding on my train. Denzel, Chris Pontius, unstoppable.
I like to-
Albert Einstein. Imagination
I like
is more important than knowledge.
like to
Therefore,
wish
I'm flying off the tracks. Extraterrestrial blunt, I got it on my lap. When I land, soul train line, hop up on my dad.
I like to wish
They fear what they don't
Sauce the
understand.
Boss.
I forgive them cause they don't
Happy
really
birthday.
know no better. Hope let them walk
I'd like to
on
give a big
water.
shout to
Dancing
Happy
in the
Gordon.
middle of
Somebody
the
say Happy
Atlantic Ocean with a
Charlie
polo
Fields.
sweater. How bad do you want success? I was holding my breath unconsciously.
I like how they sound,
the
man.
conscious me woke up and came up for
I'd like to
air.
give a
I
big
turned
happy
1
birthday
six
to,
the boom, but ain't dancing
Sauce
the
the
chop.
Boss.
I guarantee them in the dreams. Fight
feel like
miss,
we in the
Mr. Clean.
rooftop or something, you know what I
Dirty
mean?
talk, come shots, Listerine. The
I'd like
devil
to
tried
give a
to
big
catch
shout
me
to Benny
slipping,
Chapo.
but my third eye open. I see
The
when
official
I don't
Capo.
know. Body growing out the ground. The reason to come cook. The pressure
Shout to
coming.
Sauce the
They bet you
Boss,
not.
man. Happy
You can count
birthday.
on the
Happy
fingerless
birthday.
hand. How many people I can trust?
You
The
don't quit.
wordplay insane.
Short shit.
Meditate, break down, ain't plain. With no passengers on it. Facing the blunt, putting managers on it. Pushing
Call me
T attitude,
Megatron
cutting
Ron.
ways, malices wasn't on it.
Or
I
Teflon
stayed to
Don.
myself, I'm known as the cool kid. Come to the
drop
moolah,
bombs on
cheese on his head like the school days between two legs. The pussy is the basket, I finish a dunk, pull out,
I'd like to
shoot
give a
my
big
cool
shout to
J.
Boys
You see
Roseboro.
how I do when I do.